So, you were right. It is a stand. Welcome back to another Boku no Hero Academia review.
Stand abilities for the win. It is a little bit different because somehow he can shape the walls, which I wasn't expecting.
Right?
Also, his head is straight up a speech bubble.
Yeah.
Like that. That alone is just making me question a lot of things.
So, and his superhero outfit is like a comic page.
Yeah, the comic page is just masking his face. Again, I'll take the credit. I'm more than happy to take the credit. There's a little light extra there that I wasn't expecting, but it works.
And I was kind of right, too, that he needs to say the sound effect.
Yeah, in the case of the JoJo stand, it is written on something, and then eventually whatever that thing is slapped to, that sound effect becomes reality. So in the case of fire, it's like you make the sound of crack. You write the kanji for crackling fire, and you put it on something, and it ignites.
Although this seems, well, at least with the humidifier, it seems to work in the air too. It doesn't need to be attached to something.
Yeah, there's that too.
And I love the line, what would happen if he would go overseas?
Wait. I'm sorry. I remember that line, but I wasn't really sure what they were referring to.
Since onomatopoeia is different in different...
Oh, okay, now I get what you mean. Okay, got it. Yeah, that's a good question, actually. I would assume that it would just be whatever his native language is, or whatever language he speaks. The onomatopoeia's language itself wouldn't matter.
Right.
Or at least that's just the way I would interpret that.
Like Doki Doki versus Thump Thump.
Yeah, well, I mean, in English, thump thump could mean a lot of things. You could be pounding on a door, for God's sake.
Right.
Now, for all I know, that could be the same in Japan. I'm not gonna pretend I know. But yeah, we get to see mushrooms everywhere.
Which is slightly disturbing.
See, the way I took it, at least until the very end of this episode, was that the mushrooms were more of an annoyance than anything else. The way they kind of portrayed it was oh, this is just really freaking annoying. And in Toru's case, it's just, well, fuck, they can see me now. Except she's wearing gloves and shoes still, so they can still technically see her.
Oh no! They know where I am!
You never took off your clothing! So yeah, there's that little aspect, but I mean, they can see all of her body now. Hell, what the shit? She's literally there saying oh my god, it's growing on me. They can see me. They can see my silhouette. This is so embarrassing. And I'm just bitch, you're an exhibitionist. Almost literally. The only difference is you're invisible. You're constantly walking around naked. Come on.
Yeah.
They can see your silhouette embarrassing.
I will say she is still the cutest character.
The one you can't see.
I know, I always joke about that.
Oh, God. It goes pretty much as you would kind of expect it. The mushrooms come in, become more of a hindrance, and eventually Comic Book Boy, who somehow creates a wall? I'm still very unclear on how that works exactly.
I forget what
sound effects.
I forget what sound effect that was that made the walls.
There was quite a few that he used, but I didn't really understand why it created cement walls between them.
Maybe if I would remember what sound effect it was.
It felt very generic, I'll be honest, based on the subtitles. There's a lot of thumping and stuff and other things like that. Rumbling and other things. I'm just is he wouldn't be imitating an earthquake, and even then, that wouldn't make walls exist. So yeah, there's that. It separates Toru from Yaomomo. And this is exactly what Kendo was waiting for as she comes in and starts slapping her around.
Yeah! But then Momo makes a cannon!
As she makes a bunch of shields first to buy her time to make the cannon.
Right!
And this is where I'm like, wait a minute. There's something else you could have done here. I get that heroes aren't going to be lethal, so clearly she's not going to be firing an actual cannonball or bullet out of that thing. But I'm like, you could have made it a giant net to capture her, no?
Right.
Because that was my first thought. I'm like, oh, she's going to straight up fire at her, and it's going to be a net, and she's going to be captured. Or like a bolo or something that'll just wrap her hands together.
And I was looking at Momo after our last recording, and it's fat that she creates into items, not lipids, which we were having a small discussion about last time.
Is it specifically fat? Because I swore the word lipids or something like that was used.
Let me...
Like, I'm pretty sure... I thought she used, like, a specific term, not just fat.
Oh. Okay, abilities. Genius intellect. Teaching ability. Musical talent. Quirk creation. Momo's quirk gives her the ability to create any non-living material and or object from her exposed skin by transforming molecular structure of her fat cells.
Alright, yeah. Okay, fine. I swore that there was another term they used, and maybe that was just the... What is it called? Maybe it was just the subs that gave us that?
Maybe.
I swore it wasn't fat, though. It was something else. Like, unless there's another term they used that was a synonym for fat or something.
It is also possible, this is a big weakness, in that if she creates too much without replacing her calories, she can become weak and possibly anemic.
I was gonna say, like, now that I know for a fact that it's fat, yeah, she could literally become damn near anorexic at that point. Because couldn't she technically, if she runs out of fat, start using, like, her body's other... Like, when the body's hungry, what else would it go for? What does it start consuming after that, right? When it has nothing else to eat from? Like, muscle and organs, eventually?
I believe it's muscle first and organs later.
Well, that's what I mean, right? Like, if she overuses it, it could literally get to the point of, like, burning herself completely out, almost literally.
It specifies fat. I'm not too sure if she could create herself to death.
Well, you know, out of an abundance of trepidity in saying this, because God knows there might be terrible comments to yell at me for it, and it's such an easy target, I'm having a hard time resisting. There's a bunch of fat right there on her chest.
I was just thinking that.
Like, I can't, I'm sorry. I can't let it go. It's too easy a joke, even if it's a bad joke.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about... Oh, crap, I don't want to finish that sentence.
You heard it, audience. That means whatever he was thinking about was 1,000 times worse than what I was thinking about.
I was going to say I was thinking about her boobs too.
Oh, God.
Screw you, man. You made me say it.
Those chest beefers, though. But, so anyway, yes, a cannon gets created, and instead of doing the smart thing that I thought would be smart and creating a net and capturing her, or like a bolo that would tie her up, we fire off what she calls a lucky bag.
Are you familiar with the concept of lucky bags?
It's like a random grab bag. Like, it could be anything in there.
Right. And it's like popular in Japan, I think around New Year's, give or take.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's there's literally, like, there's similar stuff over here to a certain degree where it's like, how do I want to put this? Not so much, like, I'm thinking of more specifics, like trading cards and stuff. You tend to see a lot of, like, lucky bag stuff or lucky cube stuff like that, where they'll have just, like, a bunch of trading cards from a certain, like, game slapped together into a single thing at a discount price. Whether that's like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, or what have you. And it ends up just being a grab bag of, no idea what's in there. We just tell you that there's this many foil cards and this much cards total. But yeah, she shoots that off. And I have to imagine that she had no idea where Tokiyomi was at all. Just that he was randomly in the sky and that maybe he'd be lucky enough to find it as it went flying.
And maybe in, like, this general direction.
That's probably it. But, I mean, she got separated for a little while there, so there's a good chance she might have been blind firing just nowhere.
Yeah. Hey, maybe they'll see this bag flying through the air and they'll see what it is.
Like, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, you don't know how much Yao Momo was able to just assume or consider at the in the middle of the battle of like, this is where they are, they could only have gone this far, etc., without like a full breakdown. So it's hard to say whether or not she just made a estimated guess as to where they might be, or if she had a good idea of where they would have gone. Because for all she knew, they were also attacked by other villain, or by the other team, by Class B.
Yeah.
You know, and just sidetracked into a different direction from where she fired. Like, we didn't even get a sight of her looking up and seeing Tokiyomi still flying in the sky. So yeah, like, I would have thought net or some kind of bolo or rope that would tie her up or capture her. Didn't get that. I do have to wonder, would Kendo... I would have to think, could Kendo walk on her hands? Because if you tied up her legs, what's she really going to do? She's going to have to, like, crawl her way after you.
And if she can make her hands big enough, she can, like, handstand her way over to you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, does she know how to walk on her hands, especially when her hands are massive like that?
Maybe.
Like, that's something I'd be curious about, because it could be like those near enemies that we found, which have, like, the massive arms, but then sometimes they're upside down and those arms are now feet.
Maybe.
So yeah, I'd be curious about that, whether or not she's able to do that and to use that as a new type of attack. Or heck, this would actually be hilarious. And I'm thinking about it. She grows her hand massive, and she walks it along like Thing from fucking the Addams Family.
Oh!
And she just rides on her own hand that way.
Oh!
That'd be hysterical.
Like finger walking.
Exactly. She'd finger walk her way around on her giant hands.
No, but I think I had the same idea that Kendo did, that she was going to use the cannon to blow a hole in the wall.
That was my second thought when she turned it. My first thought was like a net or a bolo. My second thought was, it's going to blow through the wall. And then we got the lucky bag, and I'm like, oh, all right. Then she's probably just going to lose. Which she did, but not before trying to do exactly what I thought she'd do the first time around and tie her down.
I think that was more of a help out others, because she knew there was no way out and she was going to be defeated, so...
She said their chances were low. Like, there wasn't her chances of beating her head on like this was very low.
So even
not impossible, but low.
So even if it was one for Team B, you could still get more and win the round?
Well, yeah, because, I mean, if Tokiyomi... Yeah, because her plan probably would have been if Tokiyomi and Toru could take out the other three before Kendo managed to make her way back, they'd have a 3-2 win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because, I mean, Tokiyomi does run in there, and he nearly gets it. Hell, if Dark Shadow would have run off and done what he was told originally, they would have had at least one in the cell. But yeah, no, Tokiyomi's got, like, infrared goggles and is now able to run down, or I should say, like, it's... heat sensing goggles. That is infrared though. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's infrared. But he uses those to track down Shroom Girl, who is fucking adorable, and Dark Boy.
Also dangerous that she can make a mushroom grow in your throat.
See, I don't know if that's what it was, or if it was literally the spores in his throat.
Oh.
Or if one of the mushrooms was poisonous. Because there's plenty of poisonous mushrooms.
Yeah, and she was creating all sorts of mushrooms.
Oh yeah, she was naming off the the scientific names of all of them. Like I said, there's plenty of poisonous mushrooms. If she really wanted someone dead, she could totally do it. she does not have to just make them harmless the way they say. She could grow the really poisonous ones. The ones where it's like just touching it is deadly. Or at least extremely painful. Hell, if she makes you grow on your tongue, then you're really screwed. Because there's a good chance you'll accidentally swallow it without thinking.
Oh no. So she's much more of a threat than we thought she'd be.
She could totally be an assassin with an ability set like that.
Yeah?
Hell, like, this would be hysterical. Like, she goes in to a place where she knows a villain is going to be having dinner, right? And she just casually replaces one of the mushrooms with a mushroom that is, maybe not super poisonous, but will cause, like, neuro issues with, like, the nervous system. Paralyze someone maybe for a temporary time period. And just be like, I'm just gonna pop this mushroom into the kitchen real quick.
Or just cause intense diarrhea.
Yes, just make it miserable for them. Oh my god, she'd be the best at senior pranks. I've got this mushroom I can make that'll just make you have, like, the worst X-Lax experience.
Make everybody trip out.
Oh yeah, there you go. You can have the psychedelic mushrooms too. That'd be great. Here you go. You want one of these. She grows a bunch of them, and it's not even eating the mushrooms. It's just the spores that those mushrooms spread that cause hallucinations.
Or how about all of the above? You're paralyzed, tripping out, and you have to really shit bad.
Well, I mean, it's not even that you have to do it bad. The fact that you're paralyzed means it's happening in your pants constantly. You're done. Kind of like this review, because now we're going on to shit jokes. But yeah, sure. Her ability is kind of nuts when you start thinking about the different applications for it. Like, they're not straight up fights, but goddamn, they could be very, very painful, deadly, and or scary in other ways. But yeah, Tokiomi gets those two. Toru, thanks to the fact that Yaomomo also included disinfectant to keep the mushrooms from attaching to her, is able to take off her her clothes and just be like, hey, I'm here and I'm punching you. Ha ha ha. I'm still an exhibitionist. You can't see me.
Now you really can't see me because I took off my gloves.
And shoes.
Yes.
So yeah, she starts beating up on Comic Man, and Comic Man can't take a punch. Also, his head, as a speech bubble, changes as he's getting hit. I noticed. Even the kanjis that's written in there, which I don't know what it says, is changing.
Probably ouch.
Probably, yes. It's probably ouch, oof, stop, please, where are you coming from? I can't see you. And then we find that Kendo reaches her big old hand out the side and just grabs her. And Yaomomo's just there, tied up, making it so that Kendo's like down to one arm and barely able to move, because even the cannon's attached to the ropes.
So Class B wins.
Class B wins because poison mushroom starts making Tokiomi start coughing, having a coughing fit. Although I found it interesting that Shadow Boy gets captured inside of a fucking cloak.
Yeah.
With nowhere to go. I mean, couldn't he just, like, go out? Or because the cloak is folded in on itself, there's no escape out of the darkness?
I think it was that.
So yeah, Class B wins, which I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of hoping Class B gets some wins, because otherwise there's no real, damn it! I hate it when I forget words like this.
Stakes?
Like, yes, there you go. There's no real stakes. You can't just have it be a steamroll. I will say, I don't know if he was in it the last time, but when they start screaming at Vlad for just, like, his biased commentary, I love the fact that fucking, I'm blanking on his name, but Half Hot, Half Cold Boy is there just saying in monotone while everyone else is kind of screaming about it. Just being like, stop the biased commentary. He's just so monotone compared to everyone else.
that was this episode.
Well, yeah, and Kendo feels like she hadn't really won that one because of how far ahead. She doesn't feel like it was a clean win, which is what's upsetting her. It seems like. But yeah, moving on to the preview for the next episode, we have Multi-Arm Boy. I always forget his name because he's in the background all the time. I'm curious how he's going to pan out. I forget if they showed us who Class B's team was. I don't think they did. I don't think they showed us who the Class B team was in the preview. We'd have to go back to like episode 2 to figure that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to see, I think his name's Shoji, I want to say. But we have him with his multi-arm. So we have Tailman. We have Ida going in with super speed. And then we have Half Hot, Half Cold Boy. And I'm curious how it goes.
And I found it interesting that Manga needs lozenges in order to use his power.
Well, I mean, your voice is going to run dry. You're going to need some lubrication.
I just found that funny.
That's why he isn't just holding like a bottle of water with him, just like, man, my voice is getting dry. Glug, glug. Well, here's the actually interesting part before we end this off. We have Ida and Half Hot, Half Cold Boy working together before this. I believe during like the Stain fight, those two were working together a little bit. Like I remember Half Hot, Half Cold Boy. God, I hate the fact that I can't remember his name. I know it starts with a T. But yeah, we have him like cooling Ida's engines by putting like ice on them, so that way he can move at his like top speed without overheating. Right? They've done combo attacks together before. So I'm curious how that's going to pan out with the other two. Like, because the one guy is definitely like a scout member. Like he's a scouter. He'll find you and see you and whatnot.
Todoroki.
Meanwhile, Tailboy is power. Same with what's that?
Todoroki. Half Hot, Half.
There we go. Todoroki. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And then we have Todoroki, who's also kind of like a power level, like a power type. And then Ida's obviously just speed. I just want to look. There's one thing I want to happen really bad at some point, and it's not happened yet, as far as I can remember. I want to see Ida just run in there with his fucking engines flaring and lariat a guy, just arm out, clothesline them to the ground.
Ooh.
I want that just once. I don't remember ever seeing it. I want it to happen.
Ooh.
Because, I mean, if they're not fast enough to, like, duck with his speed, oh boy, they're going to be flattened on the ground with, like, the spiral eyes of what just happened.
Oh my god. So, I guess that's it for this episode?
Yeah, without being reminded of who the other combatants are from Team B, or Class B, there's something hard to say about how it's going to go down here. Yeah. There's not much speculation to give.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how the next round will play out. Will it be a Class B win to raise the stakes a bit?
Oh wait, we did see a little bit. It was Steel Boy that was in there from Class B, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know about the rest. I don't know if we ever saw even an idea of what their quirks were. But I remember seeing Steel Boy now and thinking about it being in there. Where he just turns to like steel.
That would be a good match against Red Riot.
Yeah, but he's not on the team this time.
I know, I'm just saying it would be a good...
Well, yeah, because they did that in the festival.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It already happened. Granted, they're both stronger now, but it already happened.
That's right. I forgot about that. So, I guess with that, we'll catch everybody next week.
Bye.